So my name is Sarah Bland and I'm a Kiwi, which means I have enjoyed the life of New Zealand, and I have a mother and a father and 2 older sisters and a wee niece as well. So I've worked as a teacher for a lot of my life and also as a social worker and photographer, and I've enjoyed trying many things. Nature's so amazing. Like, whatever you try to break or destroy, it will always come back. It will always regenerate and grow and just keep flourishing. And so whenever I spend time in nature, whatever I feel like is choking me or squashing me or bringing me down, I can always be reminded in nature that life will come again. I actually am really lucky because I have a guava plant from my great-great-grandmother, and my father has kept the seeds of the plant and replanted it, and so I now still have the same plant actually essentially as my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother. When I was a young girl, I had a fascination with the stars and would often sleep out in the backyard in my sleeping bag and just be looking up and just mesmerised at how massive the universe is. And I remember learning one time that if each person on the planet had some stars each, we'd all get 50 billion stars, so it's a lot of stars. So if I'm throwing a pebble into a pond, then I see the direct ripples that come from my actions, and so it reminds me that if I treat somebody in a really positive way, it's going to come back and it's going to affect them, and it's going to be like a ripple effect on them too. And subsequently, if I'm unkind or quick to be angry, then there's going to be consequences too. So yeah, that's one thing I love. I have a little cry. One thing I remember when I was quite small was my grandfather Jack's hands, and he had these old wiry hands, and I remember thinking, just as a really small girl, maybe 5 or 6 years old, whoa, those hands have lived through some stories. And he was a builder and a butcher and a shop owner and all sorts of different things, and I just remember looking at my grandfather's hands and I guess feeling nourished that the stories that he contained would also spur me through life too, and his wisdom could come through to me. When I talk to people in the street, I don't want to ask, how are you? Because you either get, I'm good, which can be a lie, or you can hear the real story, which sometimes people don't want to share. So I usually try to ask, are you happy? Or what's your favorite thing from today, or something like that. So it's sort of breaking up the cycle of the lies that we share to each other all the time. And if you think about what's on TV, then there's not really much that will feed you. It's just chewing gum for your eyes, it feels like. And we used to sit down quite religiously at 6 o'clock and watch the news, and when I realised that actually the TV stations are being paid money to get an audience, and they have to stretch out the news for exactly 1 hour, and then all the stories aren't important, and so they just get in whatever stories they can. And I started watching only the first 5 minutes of the news to hear the important news, and then I realised actually the news that is important is the stories of my neighbours and the stories of my family and the stories of the people who are all around me, because that's the real important information I need to take in. I can't believe I'm having so many tears. Whoa. It makes you free. I should say that, hey? It makes you free. Some of the times I felt the most nourished in life have been the times I've been travelling and have been on adventures. Now I've been to a lot of countries, and we made a count actually on a recent road trip, and I think it's 43 countries that we've been to, so it's so much fun. and you meet people and you learn about yourself and you learn about the world that's so massive and so beautiful. And yeah, I've really loved just tripping around and just seeing what I'm like in a different place. Yeah, I really like going to new places and being a little bit scared and just sort of wondering what's going to happen and trying to work out how does the language work and what am I supposed to say and how am I supposed to interact. And I really feel alive when I'm in a place that's foreign. And if I could sum this whole thing up about what nourishes me the most, I think that being in nature in real life is the best thing, and hearing real stories and having real adventures that push your buttons and make you feel so excited, and then you come away with that feeling of true life.